A heated congressional hearing erupts as Representative Jeff Van Drew clashes with a Fairfax County prosecutor over illegal immigration and public safety, pressing hard questions about crime, sanctuary policies, and whether local decisions are putting American communities at risk.
Mr. Van Drew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to bring us, I think the other side has brought us to the bizarro world, and I want to bring us to the world of reality. First of all, I want to say to you, Ms. Minter, and I mean it, I know you hear crocodile tears from politicians, you hear how sorry, you hear how sad, you hear the condolences. None of that does it justice. There's no words I can ever say. I say this every time we have another victim's family here. I pray to God there's a day when this no longer happens and we don't have to have these hearings. But we are going to have them with the good leadership of our chairman of this committee, because it needs to be talked about. And if it needs to be talked about over and over again, and good Americans like you are willing to be here because you love your children, because you loved her, and you're willing to stand up, I applaud you. Because more than a condolence, more than any of that, is when somebody says that to you, say, change the policy. Don't let it happen to somebody else. It shouldn't happen to anybody. God help you. I don't know how you do it, but we are praying for you. Secondly, when I say I want to bring us out of bizarro world, I was thinking about all the empty, a lot of times people gather around the kitchen table. Stephanie Minter's chair, that chair at the table is empty tonight. Lakin Riley's chair is empty tonight. Rachel Morin's chair is empty tonight. Jocelyn Nugari's chair. They're all human beings. They're all human souls that had families that love them and they love their family. They're gone. And we got more than that. We could spend the whole time here reading lists of people who've been murdered and hurt and beaten and raped because of what's happened and these policies. They're human beings. And you know what the worst of it is? And not the most important part, but on top of all of it, we're paying for all this. Sanctuary states and sanctuary cities cost a fortune. State of New Jersey, where I am, they estimate, and this is not me, this came out in publications, $7.3 billion, not million, billion dollars every year because of sanctuary policies. That's a lot of money for people who are really squeezed. And it's horrible, and it shouldn't happen. And also, I want to allude to the fact, people are worried about sometimes when ICE goes into where there's a church, or there's a department store, or there's a school. Nobody's really wants that. Do you know why that's happening? It's happening predominantly in blue states because their local law enforcement, state, county, and local in sanctuary states are not allowed to cooperate, where normally they would turn somebody over to ICE and you wouldn't have to go through that process. If we all cooperated, worked together, and cared about the people we serve, we'd be in better shape. Mr. Toscano, simple question. Are American communities safer when illegal immigrants who commit crimes are deported or when they remain in those communities? Are they safer when they're deported communities? Yes or no? Just yes or no?
Well, sir, that's not...
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Sir?
I'm asking the question.
And I'm trying to answer them.
No, you are...
you asked me a question that's outside of my purview.
I can down there asked you questions. You're a human being. You're sitting next to a woman who lost her daughter. Can you tell me if illegal criminals are to be removed from the country if we're safer?
And to suggest that I don't care about what happens in my community.
This is my time.
I go to work every day trying to protect my community.
You are going to answer my questions. You don't show any discipline. When I'm asked questions, I answer them. So you're not willing to answer that question. Okay. So I ask you this question. Let's talk about Abdul Jalal. Yes or no, would Stephanie Minter be alive today if he had been deported? And you know why he wasn't deported? Because then, quite frankly, the administration was not as aggressive, and if a country didn't want to accept these awful people that came from the country, we didn't know where to send them, and we held them and we detained them. Now we're finding places to send them so that this doesn't go on. That's the answer. That's why that happened. It's not a mystery. It's not something weird or unusual. They didn't know where the heck to put it. Now we just do it and we get it done. But nevertheless, would we be safer if he wasn't in the country then? Would we be safer? Yes or no?
Sir,
yes or no? Or to be safer if the man wasn't in the country? Damn it, answer my question.
Sir, I'm trying. You keep changing the question.
No, it's yes or no. There's a bad guy that murders people.
Certainly,
are we safer that he's not in the country?
If somebody is...
Nope, you can't answer the question. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll ask you this. Explain to the lady next to you. Abdul Jalal was charged in your county more than 40 times, not 4 times, 40 times. Your office dropped the charges in almost every single case. That's fact. We have it documented. We can look at it. Your own Fairfax County Police Department wrote your office, we have it, it's fact, May 2025, saying he had shown a, quote, blatant disregard for human life that was a danger to the community, and that if he wasn't detained and deported, he would seriously hurt someone or kill someone. The very man went out and then killed someone. Okay. So the question is, couldn't have we done better there?
Yeah, the gentleman's time has expired. We'll take that as a rhetorical question, and Mr. Nadler's recognized.
Oh, well.
This exchange between Representative Jeff Van Drew and a Fairfax County Commonwealth's attorney captures one of the most emotionally charged themes in today's immigration debates: public safety, enforcement discretion, and the tension between local and federal authority. Van Drew opens with a heavy emotional appeal, speaking directly to a victim's family and framing the discussion around real human loss. It's a deliberate shift from policy language to personal tragedy, and it sets a tone that makes disagreement difficult without sounding insensitive. He uses that emotional foundation to argue that sanctuary, policies, and local non-cooperation with federal immigration enforcement are directly contributing to preventable crimes. As the questioning continues, he pivots into a broader political argument. He highlights specific cases and community impacts, repeatedly emphasizing victims and public fear. This is where the rhetoric intensifies. Van Drew moves from policy critique into moral indictment, suggesting that failures in prosecution and cooperation are placing communities at risk. The repeated insistence on a simple yes or no answer is part of a common congressional strategy, forcing clarity on complex policy questions that don't easily compress into binary responses. A heated congressional hearing erupts as Representative Jeff Van Drew clashes with a Fairfax County prosecutor over illegal immigration and public safety, pressing hard questions about crime, sanctuary policies, and whether local decisions are putting American communities at risk.